Hi, I'm Amy O'Connor, and I work on the partner marketing team here at Jamf. I'm excited to partner today with our Director of IT, Maria Leese, for a conversation about employee onboarding. We have a live chat running here, and you can also follow the conversation #Elevate on social media, so please don't be shy. To get started, for those of you who may not be familiar with Jamf, we exist to help organizations succeed with Apple. For more than 18 years, we've worked to innovate, iterate, and grow alongside Apple to provide beyond basic device management and offer full lifecycle management of the entire Apple ecosystem and platform of enterprise solutions. In fact, we're the only ones that do it. When we look at device deployment, which we'll be talking about today, management, security, and how that affects the end user, we're proud to say that we can handle all of those things without the end user being affected. We preserve that native and consistent Apple experience that people for the enterprise. Something that's neat about Jamf is that more than 53,000 organizations rely on us. We're the go-to choice for organizations in tech, banking, global business. We managed over 23 million Apple devices at this time. And that includes 23 of the 25 most valuable brands across all industries and across the world. Now, I won't spend much time on this, but I do want to give you a little preview of a handout that you'll be taking with you today. It dives into specifically which of our tools solve for which problems. So you'll be able to take that with you, and I'll also have some information on how to get in touch with us. The last core Jamf piece that I want to talk about is something that I think resonates in everything that we do at Jamf, and that's our values. So we have two values at Jamf: selflessness and relentless self-improvement. I think selflessness can sometimes trip people up because it sounds like martyrdom, but that's not it. It's just about doing things for the benefit of the other. So we keep our customers paramount, our partners, our colleagues. We're really working to show up for the group so that we can all be better together. And relentless self-improvement. We just don't stop learning. We don't stop growing. And in fact, we thrive off of leaning into our high tolerance for ambiguity and finding solutions to some of the kookiest problems that come up depending on what's going on in the world. And I know we've all been riding a lot of those waves lately. So I wanted to touch on those, but without further ado, I'd like to introduce Maria Leese. Maria is the Director of IT at Jamf. She's an established leader with over 20 years of experience in IT spanning multiple industries. She has a solid track record of leading and growing highly effective teams and successfully executing on strategic initiatives. In her role at Jamf, Maria is responsible for the leadership, management, strategy, and execution of the IT organization. And she oversees a highly talented and passionate global team that is responsible for delivering a world-class employee experience. Maria obtained her CISB in 2021 and continuously looks for ways to grow and evolve both personally and professionally. Maria strongly believes in leading with empathy and transparency, and the most rewarding part of her role is mentoring and helping others realize their full potential. Now take it away, Maria. Set the stage for us.
Thanks, Amy. I'm excited to be here talking with you today. On October 1st, the most magical place on earth celebrated its 50th anniversary. For 50 years, Disney World has been obsessively focused on the guest or customer experience. It is well known for their hospitality and attention to detail. Can you imagine the details that take place behind the scenes to make that an experience their guests will remember for a lifetime? Right down to the trash cans and manhole covers, everything is meticulously thought through, and it certainly makes for a magical experience. Did you also know that Disney World itself sits on top of a series of tunnels? These tunnels, which Disney calls utilidors or utility corridors, consist of dressing rooms, break rooms, prop storage, and various other spaces. Some might say this is where the magic really happens. And if you don't believe me, Google Disney World's trash disposal system, or what they call their automated vacuum-assisted collection system. It's really something else. Anyway, these so-called utilidors are hidden from guest view and allow for a lot of the details of running the various parks, like trash removal or costume changes, to be handled behind the scenes without their guests ever knowing what's happening beneath their feet. Life is a collection of experiences. And while starting a new job is not anything like visiting Disney World, unless, of course, you work for Disney World, it's still a personal life experience that evokes emotions and creates memories. And there are many details that go into shaping that employee experience. So let's talk about the employee onboarding journey. Employee onboarding is a personal, professional journey, unique to the employee. It's not a process, it's an experience. And that's important to distinguish between. The process is not personal, the experience is. And would you know, the Human Capital Institute reports that 58% of organizations say their onboarding program is focused on processes and paperwork. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have a process. Sure, we have a bunch of tasks that need to be completed, and we don't want to lose sight of those tasks. Not to mention, we feel great as we tick off those boxes in our checklists. We're following the process, and processes need to exist. But how often are we thinking about the human on the other side? For new employees, it's not just about learning how to do the job they were hired to do. They are learning the culture, the leadership, the communication styles and channels. They are forging relationships and simply getting to know the company. They are excited, they're nervous. This is a new chapter for them, and they're wondering if they made the right decision. Is this company really everything they thought it was? Will they feel connected to their new coworkers in this remote reality? So let's not forget, there is a human on the other side of your process who is going through an experience, and every step in your process has a direct impact on that new employee experience. Do not devalue that experience.
Thanks so much for that, Maria. I love the differentiation between process and experience, that they're both necessary, but the experience is what we want to focus on. So when you're thinking about that, I'd be interested to know what common pitfalls you might see, as well as an overall idea of like, what is great onboarding?
Well, to start, I would say be careful of providing too much information too fast to new employees. Starting a new job can feel like you're drinking from a fire hose. So don't expect new employees to retain all the information that is being thrown at them. Ease into it, break it up, deliver information and training in short chunks. Start off with the essentials and then build from there. Secondly, just because we work for Jamf doesn't mean we all show up as Apple experts. Take me, for example. It's the Saturday before my first day at Jamf, and I unwrap and flip open my brand new MacBook. I'm looking around, side to side, top to bottom. Now, keep in mind, I've been working in IT for over 20 years, so you can imagine how silly I felt when the first thing that popped into my head was, how the heck do I turn this thing on? Furthermore, having worked with Windows throughout most of my career, I had to quickly learn how to navigate around my new MacBook. So don't assume, unless of course they were hired for a specific talent, don't assume new employees know how to use your organization's tools or technology, especially your core workplace apps. Now, to answer your question, Amy, about what a great onboarding experience looks like. A great onboarding experience is empathetic, it's transparent, and starts prior to and extends far beyond the employee's start date. Think back to your first day on the job, or maybe your first day at school. I'm sure it was full of emotions, excitement, and for many, some level of anxiety. Put yourself in your new employee's shoes and show them you understand what it's like to start a new job by creating an empathetic experience. Life is filled with uncertainties, but what to expect when starting a new job doesn't have to be one of them. New employees instinctively want to know what to expect and what is expected of them. It's human nature. So be transparent and lay out the journey they are about to embark on. This will ease some of the anxiety associated with starting a new job. If you're waiting until just a few days before, or even worse, waiting until the new employee's start date to communicate with them, you've already missed the boat. You should be engaging with new employees from the moment the offer is accepted. Be ready and ensure new employees are set up for success. Make sure they have their equipment and all the tools they need for day one. And when day one arrives, get them quickly connected to the appropriate tools and resources. A recent Gallup study reports new employees take around 12 months to reach their full performance potential within a role. Yet an HCI study reports that most organizations only focus on week one of onboarding. You invested a great deal of time and resources to find the right person to join your team. Now that you've found them, make them a priority. Give them your time and attention. Show them you care and that you are committed to helping them achieve success in their new role. Crafting a great employee onboarding experience is a collaborative effort. It's not any one team's responsibility. It's every team's responsibility. Without collaboration, teams become misaligned, communication and information becomes inconsistent, new employees get confused and frustrated, and the onboarding experience becomes disjointed, ultimately leading to a poor overall experience. Lastly, a great onboarding experience is one that is continuously evolving. What are your new hires saying about your onboarding experience? If you're not soliciting feedback from new employees, how do you know how your employees feel about the experience? And if you don't know, how do you get better? How do you evolve? So maybe you are asking for feedback, but more importantly, are you listening and acting on that feedback? With work from home or anywhere, here to stay, we need to evolve and adapt. So it's more important than ever that we understand what our employees have to say about their experiences, what's working and what isn't. As Walt Disney once said, Disneyland will never be completed. It will continue to grow as long as there is imagination left in the world. The same should hold true for your onboarding experience.
I totally agree, Maria. And I think that type of social iteration and concentration just makes all the difference, doesn't it? And given your experiences and all you know about onboarding and employee experience, I'm honored that we found you here at JAMP. So can you tell us a little bit about what drew you into JAMP?
Sure. So just over a year ago, while I was looking for my next great opportunity, I came across an interesting job posting. It was a remote opportunity for what looked like a great company. As I was reading through the job description, I thought, I can do this job, but I was even more interested in the company's culture, what this company stood for, and how they treat their employees. I continued reading through the job posting, and there was a section that read, "You are the right kind of employee if you're not a jerk. You put people first. You are a good person, someone who just wants to do the right thing." Now that stopped me in my tracks and struck a chord because, quite frankly, I've worked with my fair share of jerks. I'm sure you have too. I thought, well, I don't like jerks. I'm certainly not a jerk. At least I don't think I am. This sounds like the place for me. That's when I started envisioning myself working for a company free of jerks, a promise the company made to me that day, along with many others. So when I passed the jerk test and was offered the position, I really hoped the company would deliver on that promise. I'm happy to report, here I am a year later, and I have yet to find a jerk at JAMP. Now, why am I telling you this story? because it's critical that you deliver on the promises you make to new employees. Those promises are made in your job postings, they're on your website, they're in your social media posts, they're being made by hiring managers in interviews and by recruiters during phone screens. Luckily for me, Jamf delivered on its promises, but far too often promises are not kept. And this ultimately leads to distrust, resentment, employee regret, and you guessed it, employee turnover.
Well, you hit the nail on the head, I think, Maria, and I agree. There are not jerks at Jamf, and the people of Jamf are kind of what brought me in as well, so I can relate to that. So can you tell us a little bit about what makes Jamf onboarding, specifically Jamf onboarding?
Sure. While Jamf may not be considered the most magical place on earth, although it depends on which employees you ask, we do heavily focus on our employee onboarding experience, and we have the numbers to support that. Jamf has a 90% retention rate with over 2,000 employees worldwide. The first 30 days at Jamf are aimed at providing all new employees with a global orientation experience that helps foster new relationships in the workplace, builds a sense of belonging, incorporates new hires into the company culture, and builds a foundation for career growth and development to ensure success here at Jamf. During those first 30 days, employees will complete the new Employee Trailhead, which is a virtual course delivered through our learning management platform. It provides new employees with the foundational knowledge of Jamf's core business tools, Jamf's customer focus, and helpful resources that can be utilized throughout their onboarding journey and beyond. New employees will also attend the New Employee Summit, which is now a virtual event that takes place over the course of 3 days for 2.5 hours each day, and is focused on providing valuable insight into who Jamf is, what we do, and why we do it. The highlight of Summit Week is when our CEO, Dean Hager, joins live to talk through Jamf's mission, purpose, and values, and how those came to be. Additionally, teamwork activities weave throughout the Summit Week. Alongside new employee orientation, employees go through additional department and role-specific programs and activities during their first 30 to 90 days as they continue their onboarding journey at Jamf. Additional resources are made available to new Jamfs, including a wiki page dedicated to the new employee journey, which is designed to provide clarity around the set of programs, activities, and support resources available to our new employees, and to help them get started in acquiring the necessary knowledge, skills, and behaviors to be successful at Jamf.
Thanks for that, Maria. And I think that really highlights how much we put humans first here at Jamf. Can you talk to us about your zoomed in lens on the IT function of welcoming employees? What does that look like?
Sure. Amy, what's great about my job is my team is directly responsible for the IT onboarding experience here at Jamf. The employee is our customer. Our job is to make sure those new Jamfs are successful in any way we can, whether that's equipping them with the necessary tools or providing them with the applicable training, resources, and support so they can be productive and present on their first day at Jamf and every day thereafter. As soon as we receive notice of a new employee, our team springs into action. A brand new MacBook is ordered and shipped directly to the employee's home and arrives prior to their start date. We also provide the new employee with tracking information so they can be on the lookout for their new machine. The week prior to their start date, new employees receive an invite to IT orientation along with a welcome message that includes a summary of what to expect on their first day. The new employee starts off their first day with IT. During IT orientation, new employees simply power on their MacBook, and they are guided through a few simple setup steps, including selecting their country or region, connecting to their network or Wi-Fi, and entering their credentials. The employee can then sit back and relax as their MacBook is automatically enrolled and provisioned. This process takes approximately 15 minutes to complete. Now, IT never physically touches the new employee equipment. This zero-touch deployment is achieved by using none other than, you guessed it, Jamf Pro. While the machine is being automatically provisioned, a representative from HR joins the orientation to welcome new hires and encourage them to reach out with any questions. Now, once the machine is fully provisioned, IT provides new employees with an introduction to our core workplace apps and provides a brief overview of Jamf's self-service portal, where employees can install additional apps, update configurations, and troubleshoot common issues. This is also a feature of Jamf Pro. We also review the technology and additional equipment available to them as new Jamf employees. These include things like an iPhone, iPad, monitors, and the like. At the close of IT orientation, new employees are directed to the Jamf report, Jamf's internal all-company weekly meeting, where new hires receive a shout out and are welcomed to Jamf. And because we know they are drinking from a fire hose, later that morning, IT sends a follow-up email to all new employees summarizing IT orientation with a link to an IT guide for new Jamfs, which provides a recap of everything that was covered in IT orientation, along with some additional information and resources available to new Jamfs. A Slack channel is stood up for those new employees and is intended to provide a direct line to IT to ask questions or get help with any issues they run into during their first week at Jamf. Within this Slack channel, we also post daily tips and tricks, links to new hire information. We even point out popular Slack channels and employee resource groups, and call attention to several other great perks Jamf has to offer its employees. We know that setting up these channels of communication help new employees feel more connected to the company and to each other, and we know what a difference that can make.
Absolutely true. And I can remember getting those initial pieces set up and starting to feel how the technology and the human part were coming together, starting to feel comfortable with people. So those channels really are super important. I'm glad that you touched on that. Now, earlier, I talked a little bit about relentless self-improvement and selflessness, our Jamf values. So how do you see Jamf values affecting our ongoing onboarding strategy? Ongoing onboarding strategy. I set myself up for that one. Take it away, Maria.
First of all, Amy, I'd like to give a huge shout out to my amazing team who works constantly to improve our onboarding functions. Is our IT onboarding experience perfect? No. Can we do better? Of course. So in the spirit of relentless self-improvement, we are continuously looking for ways to improve the employee onboarding experience. By listening to feedback and by taking an empathetic approach and remembering what it's like to start a new job, we are finding new ways to better engage and welcome employees. We're discovering opportunities to automate and make the experience simpler for them. We're identifying additional training or resources we can provide to ensure those new employees feel supported and are set up for a successful career here at Jamf. We've invested in resources dedicated to training and enhancing the onboarding experience. And we're continuously looking for ways to leverage our collaboration tools like Slack to engage new employees and help them feel connected with their fellow Jamfs and create a sense of belonging. And because IT plays such a critical role in the overall employee experience, it's super important we make sure we are collaborating, communicating, and staying closely aligned with HR, hiring managers, and various other teams. In fact, IT has recurring biweekly meetings with HR to coordinate on the new employee experience. The goal of these meetings is to unify and streamline the new employee experience. Additionally, we recognized that not all hiring managers are familiar with the IT onboarding process for various reasons. Maybe some are newer employees themselves, or maybe they were recently promoted to a manager position, or maybe some just don't hire all that often. So we created an IT reference guide for hiring managers that outlines how IT handles onboarding new employees. And by making it easier for the hiring manager, we ended up making it easier for the new employee. Remember earlier when I said I was not familiar with a MacBook when I started at Jamf? Well, we now have a Getting Started with Mac guide that we provide to all new employees, along with a myriad of other helpful resources for various other devices and applications. We still have a lot we can do, and we'll never be done.
That's fantastic, Maria. And thank you for pointing out that you're going to continue to grow past this and that you have a team that's dedicated to that. I think it's pretty special, pretty unique. And we're just so happy to have you here at Jamf. We did want to highlight before we wrap things up that we would welcome for anyone on the call to connect with us on LinkedIn, to reach out at info@jamf.com if you have any questions. And check out our careers page at jamf.com as well if this onboarding piece sounds exciting to you and you want to learn more, maybe firsthand. Maria, take us home.
Thanks, Amy. This has been a lot. It is a lot. Onboarding is complex, both as a process and as a human experience for the new employee. I was finishing up work one day, preparing for this presentation, and my 8-year-old daughter asked, "Mommy, what were you working on?" And when I told her it was about starting a new job, she said, "I can help with that," and provided the following advice.
Starting a new job is hard on the first day because you don't know what to do and you don't think that you're going to have new friends. But then you get a friend and they help you and you feel better and you get more friends and you feel even more better. So that's how I think that we could have that as a presentation.
Consider yourself your new employee's first friend and ensure you're keeping experience top of mind while you develop processes. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks to Electric for hosting us, and enjoy the rest of Elevate.